I am Jacob Wurtz.
And I am Jacob Gabel.
And this is the Untapped Podcast.
Let's go, dude.
Let's go, man.
Guest episode today.
Big time. Big time. So much fun. Guys, if this is your first time tuning into the Untapped Podcast, first of all, welcome. And we appreciate you choosing us to listen to. We actually have 5 different formats of our show. So first, we have EX Fit. We've got 2 certified personal trainers here. And in those episodes, we cover everything to do with fitness and everything to do with the gym, nutrition, diet, workouts, outdoor workouts. We love talking about those. That's what we cover in those. Next is EX Mind. In these episodes, we cover everything to do on the mental side of things. Okay, so we talk about mental health from an anecdotal standpoint. We also cover a lot about mindset. Those are really, really good episodes.
Yeah, really fun
enjoy
episodes.
those.
Yeah.
Next, we have EX Gentleman episodes. This is where we cover everything to do with masculinity. We talk about becoming a strong male, being a strong male presence for yourself, but also for those around.
Yeah. So our final 2 formats, guys, are EX Current format. EX Current, all that is, guys, is current events, current articles, current things going on in the world, sometimes how history connects to our present day today. Again, we're not political analysts, but we do like to call it some bullshit when we see it. EXGuest is our final format, which a lot of you have probably seen a format like that. It's our interview style. It's what we have today. Basically, put simply, an interview format. We sit down with somebody that brings you value. Fitness professional, entrepreneur, etc. Guys, and our final thing to introduce is our producer, Mitchell Gable, as well.
What's going on, everyone?
Yeah.
So, guys, you clicked on the link. We have a big episode today. We've been
I like that.
We've been hyping this up a lot. We've talked about how we've got some big guests here lined up, and we are really excited to bring you guys this one. Mr. Will Bates is joining us today.
Yes.
What's going on, big man?
Not much, man. How you guys doing?
Not
Thanks for
bad.
having me on the show.
Not bad.
Appreciate it.
Really excited.
Yeah,
really excited.
One of the largest humans I've ever met in my life, guys. Yeah.
I know he makes you look small, dude.
That's the issue. Yeah.
You're not used to having to look up to him.
No, not at all. But it's
How
it's
tall are
awesome,
you?
dude. I'm right at 6'4".
Okay,
Yeah, right below it. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
You got a
dude.
little more hair than I do, so kind of helps you out a little bit.
I'm trying to keep it around.
Yeah,
We'll see how well that goes. I don't know though.
My
24.
measly 6'2" self over here
measly.
makes me feel small, you know?
Dude's still over 95% of the population calling himself measly right now. Oh my
No,
gosh.
it's good to finally be in the studio.
Poor
Right.
producer over there, guys. He's 5'9", Mitchell Gable. He's struggling right now.
Short
with
stuff
the
going
gentleman
on.
over here.
That's funny. That's funny.
No, we're happy to have you in with us, Will, and have you into the studio and whatnot. And have you ever been on a podcast?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Very nice.
Okay.
On a couple.
Yeah.
With, Defenders Gateway.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard- I think I've heard that one.
Military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Law enforcement,
Yeah.
nonprofit type stuff. So, been on a couple with them.
Very cool.
Yeah, so-
Very cool. Well, why don't you just start by kind of telling the listeners about yourself a little bit, who you are, and how you got started into the fitness industry, and just give us a little bit of your life story.
Yeah. Will Bates, Willbinspired on Instagram. Basically, I have a little bit of a background in personal training. I was a personal trainer at Gold's Gym
Right
for a little
on.
while. Then I was at Lifetime Fitness for a bit. And then I've always, coming up, been playing sports and things like that. And once I got done playing basketball, I really got into weightlifting.
Nice.
I got all the muscle fitness magazines,
Mhm.
watching
Yep.
Ronnie Coleman lift.
Sure.
Oh, that's a man
Nothing
right
but
there.
a peanut,
Man.
lightweight baby, all
Yeah.
that. So that's what kind of got me going. Of course, I had like a 45-pound on each side and skinny.
Yeah,
know,
right,
trying to
right.
get back in the day or whatever. but no, that got me into it. Just passion for it. Just wanting to better myself. It wasn't until more recently I kind of took it more seriously, trying to see what I'm capable of.
Sure.
What I can accomplish
Yeah.
myself through fitness.
Yeah.
Very nice, dude.
Right on.
Yeah. Will, what's cool about that is it's interesting hearing you say, like, you used to be skinnier and whatnot in that level
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
Like, I can relate very heavily to that.
Mhm.
And it was one of the biggest things at the time where that's all I heard from I don't know if you heard that same thing from your family. I always heard
Mhm.
man, you look really skinny today or
Totally.
something like that. And it's cool to see how far you've come in that direction to use sports. And,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've used some of that as energy and
Oh, yeah.
whatnot.
I had
But
I had a family member tell me I had a bird chest one time.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I'll remember that. I'll press 170s.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right. Now my chest is my favorite thing. Almost.
Right.
It's no longer birdish.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so, dude. Oh my gosh.
So is that a confirmation then? Are your boobs real?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they are real. No clip-ons here. What you see is what you get.
no way. That's
So
awesome,
funny.
bro.
So funny,
Holy
man.
crap.
Now, are you from St. Louis?
For the most part, I was born in Oklahoma. My dad was in the military, so
Gotcha.
I was born in Lawton, Oklahoma. We moved to Troy when I was like 2 or 3.
Okay.
So it's been back and forth between this area and Springfield, Missouri for the most part for me.
Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. There's so many connections to Springfield, honestly.
There is.
Just the more people we meet and connect with and whatnot, like I'm noticing Springfield has a lot of good connections. Obviously, that's where S2 started, where Andy started and whatnot. So, yeah, that's probably why, honestly, all the people that we all involved ourselves with and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. So, you played basketball, you said. Yep. When did you stop playing basketball?
I stopped playing basketball. I ended up going to a school in Nebraska, and the plan was to play basketball there, college, University of Nebraska at Kearney. But just pretty much just ended up working and just going to school instead or whatever. So pretty much really high school was the last, when I was really involved with the team and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Outside of that, I was just, working, trying to make some extra money and focusing more on weightlifting and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Could you dunk?
Oh, yeah.
Can you still dunk?
No
way. Come on now.
I mean, I believe in myself. Yeah, I could get up there, but it's the coming down. That,
the knees might not like that one.
Right. I got friends tearing Achilles. I'm 38 now. I got friends tearing Achilles and stuff like that. So I'm like, last time I dunked was probably maybe like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I got off one foot, but no, I can do all of it, like 360s.
What position you play?
All that stuff. In high school, like power forward.
Nice, dude. Nice. Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite player growing up?
Oh, Kobe Bryant.
Kobe.
Yeah,
Nice.
The man.
Nice.
Oh, my gosh, the man.
We've talked about him a couple times on the podcast here, and both of us being, in our young 20s, like, we didn't appreciate him enough while he was here.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, and you see all the mindset stuff that he had, afterwards or whatever.
Yep.
Like, a lot of people, like, even I had my mom was like, man, this dude, never passes the ball. And, and then you listen to him, he's like, well, why would I pass the ball to somebody? I've seen how they practice. I see you leave early. I see, you show up late. I see you were partying the night before or whatever. I've been in here working since 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you get to see, understand his mindset more and why he was the way he was.
Yeah.
And that's why I like that, the Jordan documentary also,
Yep. 100%. Very similar in their mindsets and whatnot.
And I like when people, share the little tools and little, knickknacks that kind of got them to where they were.
Exactly.
It's like, what was it, Tim Grover that worked with both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tim Grover's awesome.
That's a name right there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There was one video of Kobe I remember, and this is kind of like off of the mindset stuff with him as well. It was when he was with I believe it was 2008 Olympic team. Was that the Redeem team or was that 2012? I can't remember. Anyways, there were some obviously phenomenal athletes on that team, like LeBron, Kobe, Carmelo, etc. And they were playing in the championship. They were playing Pau Gasol in the Spanish team. And I remember LeBron and I think D Wade were both like, Kobe told him, I'm going to run through his chest in the first play. Even though they're teammates on the Lakers and whatnot. And Kobe, you see the video, goes right through a screen and just runs him over.
Absolutely.
His teammate that he plays with, in the championship, and it set the tone right away. And it's cool because it's like he could flip the switch from, he's of course friends with these guys probably off the court, but he could flip the switch to like, this is competitive time. When I'm on the court, this isn't time to play around. And I thought that was 100%. Awesome watching that clip.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Well, so staying in the fitness realm here, or going back to it now, I guess, talking about Kobe here for a sec. So you did your first bodybuilding show last year.
Yes.
And when
April.
was it? April.
Yep,
yeah.
April 22.
And it went well. You placed. Yeah.
It went pretty well. I placed in I did men's physique and classic physique.
Okay. Yeah.
Took first in the novice in men's physique.
No big deal.
You're right.
It's some light.
We're 1 for 1.
Right. But no, I mean it was good. It was a great experience, and like I tell a lot of people, whatever, it's like I've been pretty muscular for a little bit now and everything like that. But then it's just taking your body to that next step, seeing what you're really capable of. Like, you might see some of my back photos and stuff like that. And I'm like, I had no idea my back, even looked like that.
Right.
You shred the fat away and stuff like that. It's just, pushing your body to a certain level to see, what you're capable of.
Right.
Prior to that, I did. The whole thing kind of got me thinking because, I always said I admire bodybuilding and stuff like that, but I said I don't have the discipline, eating diet wise and stuff like that. because I like to eat whatever I wanted.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
you know, and back in my
Feel
20s,
that.
like I could eat whatever I wanted and just
And look that
still
way,
be jacked.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
No, I have no issues. Then I hit 30 and things got different. things got real different.
I keep hearing that.
Right?
Remember, 30 is like the limit. Like,
I'm
okay,
telling
that's when
you.
you have to stop the
I mean,
BS and whatnot. Oh
There's,
my
there's a
gosh.
little grace period maybe between 30, 31, 32, but it's gonna hit you. It's gonna hit you.
One way or another, it's not stopping.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I was always into it. I just like I don't think I had the discipline or the mindset for it. So back in 2020, I got in a couple different incidents to where I was almost, I could have lost my life if things went a different way.
Yeah.
So my main thing was like, if I were to die today, what would I be remembered for? Or, what have I really done?
Sure.
The police, law enforcement stuff's cool and stuff like that. But, what kind of difference or, what with myself did I find out? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so
right.
just kind of an eye-opening thing. So I had a friend, Nick White, who he's actually a first form guy, athlete, and he'd done 75 hard. And I knew a couple other people who did it and stuff like that. I was like, no drinking, what? Nah. Or, 2 workouts a day and all that stuff. Like, that's crazy. It's not for me. So, but then I saw his pictures. I was like, man, that's crazy. I would have never thought that he looked like that. Like, but then, you see he's ripped up, abs, everything like that. I was like, man, I wonder, if he can make that kind of transformation. I wonder what it looks like for me. So, at the end of December 2020, I decided to kind of do it or whatever. And I finished it in March of 21. And I had some great results or whatever, great pictures, stuff like that. And I was like, kind of had the mindset. So then it kind of, sparked like what else can I do?
Yeah.
Right.
So September of that year, I ran an ultra marathon.
No
Oh, wow.
way.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I ran a 50K. It was 31.5 miles.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So it took me like 7 hours to do.
Yeah.
The whole way or whatever. Had one of my buddies come out from Seattle to run it with me, and then Nick White, he actually he's the one that talked me into it. yeah. So
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that.
I put a bunch of posts up, and I put my posts on Willbinspired and stuff like that. My buddy's joke is, Will can't be tired, or I'm gonna say Will's tired, not Will.
Yeah, right.
And stuff like that. So Nick. He put something under my page like, come run that 50K then, or pretty much.
Oh my god!
No, dude.
So I was like, all right. I said, whatever. I'm in. Whatever. No. I've never ran a marathon ever in my life. The most I probably run is maybe 5-6 miles.
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
me. That's max I've ran.
And so it was cool, great experience. It was a Katy Trail 50-50.
Okay.
And went out there, did that. It was a little rainy, which kind of helped me out and stuff like that. But it was tough. That's probably the toughest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, okay, well, I did that. Now what else can I do?
What's next?
Well, I've always wanted to, I've always been intrigued with bodybuilding, and I always kind of, admired bodybuilders and those who could do it, even my friends and stuff like that I've seen do it.
Sure.
I just never thought I really had it in me. So I kind of, look on social media, kind of scout people out, and so I felt like the best fit for me was Kevin Ford. So I ended up reaching out to Kevin and coming up with a plan. And, we bulked up till about December and then cut down in April, and it worked out pretty well. Yeah, I was happy.
What'd you bulk up to?
I got up to about 285.
285? And then what did he have you cut down to for sure?
Well, for the show, I had to make 245 for weight,
Wow.
but I stepped on stage at 238.
Yeah? How did you feel, like mentally and physically, when you
That's
were,
my question too.
no carbs in you, dehydrated? Like,
Right.
what was the
So
feeling?
I did
going
a
on?
20-week prep.
Okay.
So we kind of slowly brought me down.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I just, I was just so locked in on everything or whatever. I really, it really didn't bother me too much.
That's
like
awesome.
even the day before, like I barely had carbs, stuff like that. I was just so excited to kind of get up there and do it. And it's like, you want to look good. You don't
Absolutely.
you don't be the dude up there looking crazy.
Exactly,
Like,
right.
like you do,
or jeopardize your first experience
right,
being
right.
so special.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was very happy with it, and I would recommend it to anybody. Just if for nothing else, just saying, oh, okay, I can look like that.
Right. Right.
That's that was one of the main things for me.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, I want to, step on throats. Like,
Right.
get up there, get up there
Let's
and
go.
really start, going after it and seeing, can I win this? Can I do this? And seeing where it can take me.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So do you have a goal of getting your pro card then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I don't know too much about the ins and outs of the actual competition wise, but what does it take to get to the pro card?
So you have to be at a pro qualifier competition.
Okay.
It's my understanding, and then you have to. Some of them, it's my understanding that you have to win the overall. You have to beat like everybody.
Gotcha.
Or some of them, I think you just have to take first in a certain category.
Gotcha.
But I got for some reason, I guess different competitions are run differently.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm still trying to kind of figure it out myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm learning from Kevin and some of the other guys that have kind of been through the whole experience.
Right.
So
does Kevin still compete? I've only met him one time. I'd met him with
he's
you.
not now. He's not at the moment. He's not. He's kind of focusing more on his business and stuff like that, because he does lifestyle coaching too. He doesn't just train competitors. He does lifestyle coaching, but then he has a job outside of that as well. Then a family and everything. So
So he's busy.
exactly. So just building his business, and I think when he really locks in on bodybuilding or whatever, like that's his focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's
Which
awesome.
I
That's what he
mean,
loves.
which all the great ones. I mean, that's what it is. you know, So
He's got legs the size of a 100-year-old oak tree.
Oh,
Crazy.
my word.
Crazy.
yeah.
Guys, go look him up on Instagram. It's insane.
IFBB Pro Kevin Ford.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
dude.
No, that's crazy. So what would you say was the hardest part of prep?
The hardest part.
Or you're going through a prep right now. You
Yeah.
have your next show coming up here in just a couple months. What's in your opinion, or what for you has been the hardest part of prep?
I would really say, well, so I have kids and wife and everything like that. So I wake up and I do fasted cardio. And
Walking and talking with Will.
That's right. Walking, talking with
Great
Will.
stuff.
Love it. Love
I
it.
appreciate it. But so with work and everything like that, I'm not really guaranteed to get a workout in later, because you never know where the day might go.
Sure.
So I'm waking up about 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 3:30, and doing that fasted cardio, having a meal, and then going to the gym most days.
Yeah.
So initially it was getting up early and getting it done or whatever was kind of rough. But now that I've been in a routine and been doing it for a while, it's just kind of, all right, I'm up.
Right.
Whatever. Goggins talks about, in a couple of his interviews and stuff like that, he's like, okay, you just tell your body this is what we're doing now, and you do it.
Yeah,
That's
I know
awesome.
exactly what you're
That's
talking
awesome.
about.
That's one of my favorite interviews with
Yeah.
him and stuff like that. It's just like, all right, this is what we do now.
Right. Well, and once you get into that routine, like you just said, it's just what we do. Like
Yep.
it's not that there's not that stress that comes with a new
Right,
routine
right.
or
Yep. You don't have to think about it. It's like
Exactly.
automatic at that point in time.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
100%.
right.
Yeah. That's fascinating to me. So you're basically running 75 hard as it is just through prep, because you're already doing fasted cardio and then
Right.
you're lifting most days that you said as well.
Only thing is, it's like, because I actually contemplated doing 75 hard and the prep at the same time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And I might do it one day. But with this one, so it's okay. So 75 hard, it has to be outside, stuff like that. Which I'm not, walking. I've been doing most of my cardio inside.
Yeah,
at the
on the
moment,
treadmill,
whatever.
yeah.
And I might only require 30 minutes on the treadmill or something like that. Or
That makes sense.
just different, ends of the cardio and stuff like that. Just we felt might not align best to do it right now.
Right.
But after we see how my body kind of adapts and we go through this time, just maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Two workouts. I'm getting my gallon in. Taking selfies, have to.
Definitely have to do that part.
Right. They don't all make the gram, but
So true. Some of them you're like, this isn't going anywhere. Nobody's seeing this one.
Yeah, the lighting's bad.
Right.
No, but then the diet's in check. Only thing, I haven't been reading 10 pages every day, but I'm pretty good with reading.
Yeah.
I need to get better at it again, but yeah.
What's been your favorite book that you've read?
My favorite, probably can't. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Can't Hurt Me.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the first one that comes to mind.
his newest one. I'm
Oh,
like
yeah.
2/3 through it.
Never finished. Yep.
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
It's dope.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering, I was curious, like, you know, how are you gonna top the first one or come close to it? And I feel like he
did.
accomplished, you know, he did a great job with it. Like, you know, Tim Grover stuff.
Yeah.
Relentless.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Winning. Ed Milet stuff. Big fan of his.
Yeah.
Andy's book 75 Hard. Because Andy's book 75 Hard. Have you guys read that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We have. Yeah.
It not only talks about the program, but you know what got him to that point and everything
Right.
like that. So
Right. It's
yeah,
pretty cool in that 75 Hard book too. It's cool how he goes through almost like the different phases that you'll experience
Yes.
throughout
Exactly.
75 Hard. And when you're first reading it, you're like, man, did I really experience that? And then you're like, yeah, I absolutely did.
I thought it was
feel these-
bullshit at first when I first read it. I was like, "There's no way that's going to happen." And then the exact same thing happened. And I was like,
Right,
"Oh, okay,
right.
never mind. This guy knows what he's talking
God
about."
mode
Yeah.
to end it and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember at one point at it, because you know I have a bar and stuff like that, and I was a big bourbon drinker and stuff like that. So I had just all out on display for everybody seeing stuff like that. And I was like, man, I keep looking at this stuff. Like I need to put it away.
Yeah, right.
So I put all that stuff away and it made it a little bit easier. If you're not seeing what you feel like you might be missing out on.
Yeah.
When you're really not missing out on anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that, I mean, at least we learned, is you don't have to be drinking to have fun at big sports events, Super Bowl, UFC fights, whatever, or you can still go out, and still have plenty of fun, not drinking,
Absolutely, man.
It's just that social pressure. That's what makes it tough for people.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, if everyone's drinking, why wouldn't I?
Well, that and the recovery.
Exactly.
100%.
Right.
Man, I used to be able to drink and go to the gym the next day in the morning.
Yeah.
And just just lift whatever.
Right.
No, hangover last 2 or 3 days. Like, this ain't worth it. That night wasn't even that fun.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Does this work 2 or 3 days of my time?
Right?
What the hell?
Right.
No, it's terrible. And then especially when you start taking care of your body more, getting into different fitness competitions or things like that. You want to. Then you look at the other guys that guy's not drinking. This guy's not going out every weekend.
Right.
And that's why he's winning. So you start changing your mindset. Depending on whatever your goal is.
Sure, absolutely.
That's kind of along the lines of my next question too. So from show to show, obviously, like there's small changes at that point in time. What are you looking for small change wise? You talked about your back. Like, is that like something that's an example of a small change you look for from show to show? Is there any massive changes you see? That type of stuff.
So right now, the biggest change I see is my legs. That's going with oak tree legs. So that was my main thing, was I wanted to bring my legs up.
Yeah.
And I really I just did a check in with him, and I really didn't notice it a whole lot. And he's like, "Man, there's a big change in your legs." And so I kind of looked at him. He did a side by side comparison. I was like, "Oh, those are definitely different."
Growing.
So I'm sticking with men's physique. The board shorts and stuff like that, because I want to give my legs time to kind of come in just a little bit more.
Gotcha.
So maybe 2-3 more years or whatever. But I'm looking to see a bigger change in my legs.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I put on some more muscle mass over the off season.
Okay.
And just kind of, but we're looking to cut down even lower than the 238 that I was at before.
For this May show.
This May show.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for the May show. So the goal is to do the May show and then do a show in June also. Go back to back with them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
No, it's exciting, dude.
Very cool.
Are those both here in St. Louis? Or?
One's in St. Louis, and I believe the other one is scheduled to be in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So,
Traveling a little bit for it.
still just trying to figure that out. But even after the last one, when I stepped off stage, I was, I wanted to do another one.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was ready to get up here, but it's a process.
Sure.
It's all a process.
So explain the difference between men's physique and men's classic for anyone who may not know what that is.
Physique. So really in physique, you have a couple poses. You have a front pose and a rear pose, and then a lot of people refer to it like a pretty boy competition. You're smiling,
right?
But then the classic, you have what I believe is 5 different poses or whatever and then you're in your bikini briefs.
Sure.
Pretty much.
So in that, your legs matter a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Legs matter. Got your cheeks out.
Yeah.
And then you got to do a minute routine by yourself on stage.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that's
with
cool.
that,
Probably a little nerve-wracking.
I
It
feel
is
it's very
nerve-wracking or
nerve-wracking,
whatever. So it's like, the lights are real bright and stuff like that. So, when somebody's on, you just focus on the lights. But there's like 300-400 people standing down there, and you're up there in your underwear, for real, or whatever, just hitting poses and stuff like that. Yeah, super exposed.
Yeah,
front bulge, everything.
Yeah, right.
Or I'm getting myself too. Yeah,
we all know that one.
Right.
Oh my God.
But it was good. It's like if I can do this, then mentally, because I told myself I could never do that or whatever, or have the confidence to kind of be on stage, like that in front of people like that or whatever. Then what can I do?
Right.
So my whole thing now is just like not focusing on what people think, anything like that. Just focusing on being the best version of myself.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
Right. Which is such an interesting mindset, because not caring about what people are thinking, just doing you, being the best version of you, while you're prepping for something where you're standing in front of 300 to 400 people that are all judging you.
Exactly.
And some of them officially judging you, obviously for the competition aspect, but that's a very interesting mindset, keeping it to yourself and whatnot, but training for something that you're going to be judged for.
Exactly. Yep.
So
absolutely.
Is there probably not, but is there kind of a mental battle between that for yourself?
Between
just like, I'm doing this for me. I don't care what people think of me doing this. I don't care what people think how I look. But I also know that I am training for something where I'm going to be judged for it.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, so I guess you care what certain people think.
Sure.
I mean, or you care, you want to do well for the judges or whatever, so you're catering to them and stuff like that.
Yes.
But the haters, naysayers, and stuff like that, people that might have negative comments to say, or people who, oh, why would you want to do that? Or that sounds terrible. Eating this, eating that, working out twice a day. I'd rather sit on the couch watch Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, for those kind of people, I don't care with those people, like people like you or Kevin or, people who are actually doing something with their lives. Like, I'll care about.
Exactly.
I'll have I want this person to, think that this is cool, or, I want to hit this pose right, or I want to do that or whatever. Not necessarily because I value their opinion.
Exactly.
I value their opinion because I know it's going to put me in a better position.
Right. I was going to bring that up in our last full-length episode. Yep. For those of you that listened, you know that our Q&A was all about criticism.
Yes.
And how do you take it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And we went through, you went through 3 separate buckets. Okay, who is this person? Are they someone that is just here to hate on me?
Exactly.
That doesn't matter.
Yep.
Are they someone who's trying to give me good advice but doesn't realize that their opinion isn't that important to me?
Right.
Or is it someone that, I'll take this into account. This is a meaningful person in my life and whatnot. So it's the same thing there. I kind of figured that was what the mindset was there, but definitely an interesting thing to talk about there. So let's move into the nonprofit.
Yep.
So Willbinspired, that's your nonprofit, which has been officially a nonprofit for how long now?
It's been official since March of 21.
Okay.
But I didn't know about it until July. Yeah. So I had a golf tournament. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I had the golf tournament in May and everything, and I had some other events, but I submitted my paperwork for it back in September of September of 21, and what I'm trying to say. So I submitted my paperwork for it or whatever, and they told me that it would take maybe 6 months, something like that. But then it ended up being over 9 months or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what's the hang up? So I never got notified or anything like that, but tax time came around and stuff like that. So I go to my tax guy, and I'm like, I haven't got anything, whatever, but this is, I just want to have everything documented. This is the money I brought in and stuff like that. He's like, okay, well, let's see if you're, in the IRS registry and stuff like that. He's like, yep, here you go. Here's your number. Here's your official letter. I was like, can I have that?
You're right.
Please get that.
So I get the letter and it says March something. I'm like,
what?
So it was official since March.
Right.
But anyway.
I wonder if the post office lost it or something.
I don't know.
Then,
I have no idea. But yeah, so been doing it for a while now.
So kind of talk about, where did the name come from? What do you do?
Yeah.
What why?
Yeah.
Why did you want to do it? And what are kind of some future plans for it?
Yeah.
Kind of go through all that.
Like I said, in 2020, it was a rough year. I got in a couple different instances, critical incidences where like I said, thought if it had went another way, I would have probably lost my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at something to kind of balance out the negative,
Sure.
stuff like that. My buddy runs a nonprofit out of Colorado called Revital. Revital, Colorado.
Vital.
Yep.
Okay.
Where
Cool
they do,
name.
Where they do stuff with, first responders and stuff like that. So they do
cool.
outdoor retreats, fishing, shooting, just different things like that. I mean, they'll do family events and stuff like that. Top golf stuff. They do a police versus fire hockey. I mean, they do a bunch of, just different events or whatever.
Yeah.
They do couples retreats, counseling, pretty much anything you name. Like a officer dies in the line of duty, they're stepping in to help out with that.
Very cool.
Somebody, something's going on with they had the fires out there, whatever. So they're stepping in to kind of help with that. They just like a catch-all for everything, trying to help. So I was like, that's something I'd want to be a part of, whatever. I think it's Tony Robbins says, when you're feeling helpless, help someone, help somebody else.
Yeah.
That'll kind of help you out. So I wasn't necessarily helpless. I was just like, man, what's next, or I need to do something else.
Something's got to change.
Yeah, something has to change mentally. So the original goal was for me to do like a Revital St. Louis.
Okay. Like a separate branch of it kind of thing. Yeah.
But every time we got on the phone or whatever, he was so busy and stuff like that. I was like, man, I really feel bad adding something else to your plate.
Right.
So I was like, well, maybe I'll do my own thing or whatever. He's like, yeah, well, maybe we do that and I'll help you along the way with whatever it is. So, like even my Instagram tag was Revital STL to start out with.
Gotcha.
Or whatever. But then, after I did the 75 hard and things like that, people would be like, hey, man, you inspired me to do this, or you inspired me to do that, or whatever. So, I don't know, I just came up, Willbinspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I, something to catch your eye, whatever, the red. Yeah,
right.
In red or whatever. They were like, what does that mean? And then my military guys, like, remember everyone deployed.
Yeah, right.
But for me, it requires effort daily. So every day you're doing something to get better. Whether it's helping somebody, doing something for yourself or whatever, just every day, try and do something better.
Something productive. Yeah.
So that's where Willbinspired kind of started. But the Warriors Fitness Fund, the nonprofit, basically I want to do something for a military veteran to kind of give back, say thank you for your service, stuff like that. And this was over Memorial Day weekend. And so I put out there on Instagram, Facebook, and all the social media things, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm looking to, gift a year membership to a military veteran. Reach out to me if you know somebody, or if you yourself would like a fitness membership.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Just just let me know. So I didn't get a lot of response, from people who wanted it and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I did get response from like one of my buddies who is actually on my board, Kenny Callahan. He was like, "Hey, I'll match you. You get one, I'll get the next one."
Nice.
Pretty much. And so I go to a local gym, Anytime Fitness and everything like that, and I speak with the owner. And I'm like, "Hey, you got some military guys here that you think could use this?" He said, "Yeah, I got a guy." Kind of tell me how he was helping out around the gym during the COVID times and stuff like that.
Okay.
And special guy, kind of told me more about his background and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, that's perfect. I said, yeah, let's take care of him for a year.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I have another guy too, that's, just as great and awesome and everything. I was like, okay, cool. Cause I got my guy says he's going to match me.
Yeah.
So, we'll take care of that one too. He said, oh man, this is awesome. He said, what if I have more? I was like, I don't got no more money. But
this isn't a blank check yet. It's not a blank check yet.
Right. Well, my wife might have something to say if I'm just, buying all these other men.
Well, where did all of our money go? Where did our savings go?
Right. Everybody's healthy and happy though, right? But no. So I was like, well, how do you stop it just two? So I said, let me just put it out. Go out on faith or whatever, and just put it out. I was like, hey, this is what we've done. I got 2 memberships for people here. I said, if you guys like the idea, pretty much, I'll open it up. If you want to donate it to it, I'll keep it going as long as people, are interested in donating to it. So the GoFundMe money kind of starts rolling in, stuff like that. And then since then, I'll put out every once in a while testimonials, stuff like that. And people are like, hey, man, I was really, really dark place when, you reach out to me or whatever. It's nice to know people care.
Yeah.
Because I present it like, it's from the people to thank you for your service or whatever.
Sure.
Because even with Defenders Gateway, their whole thing is like one of the guys I talked to that, was in charge of helping them with their stuff was, you go in the military and stuff like that, you have all these resources, but once you get out, you don't necessarily have the same amount of resources or, somewhat forgotten about.
Sure.
So, which is a whole other conversation.
Right. And, somebody reached out saying like silver sneakers was not going on anymore and stuff like that. So I'm like,
I don't know what that is.
What's that? It's like like elder.
That's elderly, right?
Yeah, like elderly, like
because
like
I know Lifetime has some
gotcha.
as well.
But then I heard
Medicare allows you or something like that.
Then I heard it came back. So, but I'm not sure what that whole situation was. But no, it was just a way for and then you see the suicide rate. So that was one of the main things too. During COVID, people were doing the push-up challenge, and 22 a day. For 22 veterans, that I was like, man, there's no way 22 a day. I said it's crazy. So I was talking to my boy Corey who's with Defenders. He's like, nah, they say now it's upwards more like 44.
Oh my gosh.
I said, man, that's that's
shit
crazy to even thinking about 44 a day. And that's why I started kind of putting myself out there more. It's like, hey, we all struggle. We all have these things we go through and stuff like that. Like, you're not alone. And I'm trying to normalize, being okay with asking for help and getting your mental health check and stuff like that.
Sure.
And a lot of people and that was with me or whatever. So when I got through certain things that kind of, were stresses to me and having PTSD from certain situations, the gym has always been my go-to or whatever.
Right.
So I was like, well, if it works for me, let me put it out there for some other people.
Right.
Take advantage of, get some other people in the gym.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and work it out through that. Then I went from that to I got some mental health counselors on board.
Nice.
They was like, hey, we'll work with you. Some of them have, I think, grants to work with military veterans and first responders.
Very cool.
And things like that. And initially, I just had it as military veterans and police officers.
Okay.
Whatever. And because I really didn't know the side, the firefighter side of things or EMT and stuff like that. And I was talking to my buddy Jordan, who runs, Revital, and he was kind of telling me some fire stories. I was like, "You did what? Like what? That's crazy."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, bring some firefighters in here."
Yeah,
too.
right. Bring them all.
We're getting everybody now.
Yeah. If you got some shit going on, like
exactly.
Yeah. No, but military and first responders, and like I said, I feel like it. Fitness stuff like that helps me out, and I felt like it could help other people out. So we got the fitness memberships, and it's not just like weightlifting gyms. Like I've gotten, jiu-jitsu memberships.
Nice.
Just anything kind of fitness related.
Sure.
Outdoor retreats. I took so Revital. They've had some stuff going on out in Colorado, and there's a guy who owns a ranch out there who he'll let us use that ranch for different things or whatever. So bring guys out there. I took 6 first responders and their families. So I think like 10 people total or whatever out to Colorado for a wellness retreat or whatever.
That's awesome.
That wasn't too long ago, was it? I feel like
No,
I remember.
it was recently.
Yeah, it was back in October.
Yeah, okay.
I want to say. Back in October, and they talked about a lot of different things like your diet, just different health and nutrition stuff. They talked about brain mapping. They talked about where your stress goes and how you're handling your stress. They had couples up there talking about things that they've experienced in their relationships because of the job, things like that. And it was good. It was a good experience. Everybody liked it and things like that. And so basically the goal is just to kind of keep being able to do things like this.
Yeah.
Now I'm working with Neurogen St. Louis. They do brain balancing.
Okay.
And it's basically they attach these leads to your head and stuff like that. And they have a whole list of things that you can get treated for with like this low wave electronic pulses. They have anxiety, PTSD, executive function, focus, calm, like just a whole, like I said, there's probably like 30 things on this list, and then different combination of things.
Gotcha.
And so we had a event for military veterans and first responders. It was like the week of Thanksgiving, and so we've been doing it for free.
Very cool.
Letting them come out there and stuff like that. And there's been some significant changes. People who haven't slept in years are sleeping. Relationships are getting better. People are more calm or whatever. Because the thing with military veterans and first responders is like hypervigilance. Like you're always, looking around. You're always, sometimes a lot of times you're trained to look for something to go wrong.
Sure.
So you can react.
Right.
Or even I've put myself in different scenarios. Like, what if this happened? How would I respond?
Right.
But you're constantly doing that.
Right.
Right.
Kind of always in a state of alert, basically.
Exactly. So,
right.
So that's a new tool. So I'm just looking for different things, different ways to kind of draw more attention to being okay with taking care of your mental health.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've seen you post about the what did you call it?
Brain balancing.
Yeah. I've seen you post
yeah.
about it, and I'd never seen that before, but that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So how many memberships are you up to now?
I am up to 57.
Yeah.
Damn.
That is awesome.
Yep,
Yeah.
That is
57
so
memberships.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
57.
Yeah. No, that's huge to
Yeah.
have all that support coming in,
Mhm.
and just the work you're doing with the veterans and the first
Thank you.
responders. Like, I'm
Thank you.
sure that feeling, not only for you,
Mhm.
very fulfilling feeling, obviously, but for them too, to just know, like, hey, this guy's got my back.
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
people, they've got my back. I don't know who it is. I don't know who donated. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter, but
Right.
like, they care.
Yeah.
And
Another thing is like the community or whatever. A lot of people want to do something good or whatever, or they want to put something good to a certain cause or whatever. They
Sure.
just don't know what to do.
right.
So if you're out here actually doing something, it's like, okay, I can get with that. So let me support this guy. Let me support what they're doing.
Right.
And stuff like that. They just take action is my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right. Gotta give a
a lot
flex
of-
with it too.
right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
but yeah, I mean, taking action towards it, and I'm just trying to, actually live that by doing what I can.
Right.
Touching, doing whatever I can for as many people as possible is the goal.
Yeah.
Just because it's the ripple effect or whatever. You do something-
Exactly.
I got guys that got memberships or done the mental health counseling. Now they're off doing stuff.
Yeah.
Or
They're off helping other people.
helping other people.
Yeah.
Whatever. I
Right.
saw one guy. He took a donation for a family who was going through some stuff and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, I'll approach military veterans and stuff like that, and their responses is like either it's like somebody else better deserves it, or or no, sometimes no, but I'll help you, or it's like or they'll accept it and be like, well, how can I pay it forward?
Yeah.
So that's the mindset.
That's
just
awesome.
always trying to help people even
Sure.
when people are trying to help them.
right. Right.
So
And I'm guessing too that the people that might say someone else deserves it, more than I do, they're probably still kind of in that state where they don't want to ask for help. They're not
right.
confident enough
Oh,
to ask
yeah.
for the help. And I think everyone experiences that at some
Right.
point in their life. That's not just exclusive to military or first responders and whatnot, but I think that's your whole idea here is
right.
like, hey man, like it's all right. Like, let me help you.
Yep,
let
exactly.
me help.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think it's tremendous what you're doing, man. It's
Thank you
really,
very
really
much.
cool to watch
Much appreciated.
and to know you as well. Obviously we value your friendship and whatnot, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah,
It
thank
really
you very
is.
much.
It
Yeah,
really, really is.
I guess my question I have for you there is like, so dealing and being around all these, first responders, veterans, et cetera. What have you seen that these men and women have gone through? Because you kind of mentioned with the firefighters, like they've obviously seen a lot too. Like, what's a general sense or like some different scenarios that these people have been in that, that their mental health has taken a really big hit with that? Because I'd love to hear, see if other people are in that scenario as well.
Bro, well, the military guys like war.
Yeah.
I've done it for guys in Vietnam. One guy, and I've put him out there before or whatever, and he's okay with me sharing his story and stuff. This guy Warren,
Sure.
he was in Vietnam and everything, and he got blown up, shrapnel all over his body and stuff like that. And I believe he was in the hospital for like 17 months.
Oh
Holy
my
Something like
cow.
that.
Wow.
And before he went over there, because he volunteered and stuff like that. His family members were talking bad to him. Basically. And then when he, had the medical issues, they were really kind of getting after him, saying like, basically, this is your fault. And,
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
talking bad, you're an idiot and stuff like that. And he has an amazing story, but an amazing human being and stuff like that. And he just went through a lot. And there was, there's a volunteer firefighter. When we went to the retreat in Colorado, volunteer firefighter named Cody, who's from actually the Missouri area. He was, man, it's tough. So he was in a car with his siblings and I believe his parents or his mother went into the casino to go gamble, and left him in the car. So he was strapped in the car seat, and then, long story short, the car catches on fire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, somebody's playing with a lighter, car catches on fire, and he's burned 90% of his body.
Wow.
And he's not one of my guys, but he's just, somebody who's kind of gone through. But to get into, some of the, first responders and everything that I deal with, like I said, overseas war, being deployed, breakups, relationship divorces and stuff like that because of the stresses of the job and not kind of knowing how to handle that appropriately.
Sure.
Or, I see just high stress critical incidents. I mean, guys are getting in, especially here in St. Louis, shootings all the time. Just different fires. You're just probably the most traumatic experiences like you're gonna see. Kids is a big one too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That paramedics, EMTs kind of have to see. There was an instance where I saw, a kid who was killed or whatever, and I won't go into the specifics, but it was a very, you can tell he had been abused and stuff like that. And he was 2 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And so just you're dealing with some of this stuff on a daily basis or whatever, and you're not thinking about how can I decompress from some of this stuff, or what can I do to offset this? And that's what Willbinspired Warriors Fitness Fund was for me. I was dealing with a lot of negative stuff or whatever. It's like, okay, I need to offset this with some positive stuff. So, and it fulfills me, being able to help other people or whatever.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, like it help, in a way it's selfish because it helps me a lot.
But I mean, you're doing it for good, so I don't know that it's selfish at all, because there's nothing negative about it. You know what I mean? So
I tell everybody, you're like, hey, you feel better doing stuff for other people. Like, it's just the truth.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like giving to people. Like, I mean, it's the same thing as if I gave Mitch a present,
right?
When we were younger and whatnot, I always felt better than when I got one myself, like, because it was just, when I got one myself, it's like, oh, cool. Like, fulfill my vanity. But I get Mitchell one and he, I see his reaction or something like that. Even a small example like that, it's a good, example of how it works for you, like actually giving back as well. So it's been kind of that, giving back to people. The gym, like those are ways that you decompress. What have been other ways you've seen as well for these people in high stress situations too?
To decompress?
Yeah.
I would say outside the gym, mental health counselors. The one thing about the brain balancing is like you just sit there and you don't have to say a word if you
don't have to think about it. Yeah.
It just they just do the work for you or whatever and kind of work on your stuff. I know there's another girl, and I'm blanking on the name of her nonprofit or whatever, but she was doing like different wellness stuff like the yogas and your cryotherapy stuff and everything like that. But I think she's kind of dabbled more in the how do you call it, the psychedelics and stuff like that. Which I mean, I've been hearing good things about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's just something that I'm not familiar with, whatever. So I think she's gone that route. But I'm trying to think. There's a guy that I got a membership for. He actually went out to a facility out in San Diego that he spoke volumes about, and I kind of want to get more information about that, but. A lot of times it seems like just getting away, and that's why getting away, seeing a new environment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even take vacations. It's
Sure.
job and home TV, job, home TV.
It's just not an option for a lot of times.
Right. Even just going outside, like that's something we've talked a lot about. It's like the changing your environment aspect. Like you're feeling highly stressed, like take a walk. Take a 20-minute walk. Take a 30-minute walk. It doesn't have to be some kind of serious ruck or whatever that we're all doing, but go outside and just be in nature. You don't always have to be stimulated by devices and screens and stuff like that. Like just that's a great way to decompress too.
And Kevin talks about it all the time. He's huge about walking outside. I think he does all his walks outside for the most part, and I think that's why Andy, implemented. That in the 75 hard, getting an outdoor workout. It's something about nature and being outside, and there's a whole science behind it. People a lot smarter than me came up with it, but they say they say it works. But Yeah, I mean, just getting that fresh air and everything is really like I felt my best like mentally. Like it sucked like physically, but when I was running and stuff like that, when they say runner's high, that's a real thing.
Yeah,
like,
I bet.
It's really made. That's where I came up with some of my best thoughts and stuff like that was when I was running, and I kind of miss it, but it's not conducive to building these legs up.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Got to kind of pick one.
Yeah, right. Well, and with 75 hard too, when you're doing those outdoor workouts, the fact that you have to do it every day, regardless of the weather, I think that's a big one too, because it could be pouring down rain. It could be 5 degrees outside. It could be 105 degrees outside in St. Louis. Here we get it all. And through those difficult times, it's easy to do it when it's 70, sunny, little breeze going. Like, it feels great outside. That's easy. Those are easy days. But when it's raining or snowing or whatever the condition might be, those are the days where you find new things out about yourself. Like, hey, I am capable of doing this, and when you're running an ultra marathon and whatnot, hey, I am capable of this. Like you just said, that's where you had some of your best thoughts.
Yeah.
I think that's such an interesting concept that so many people don't tap into. Because they look at 75 hard. There's no way I could do that.
Exactly.
An ultra marathon. There's no way I could do that. You just do it, and you're gonna just slowly find out who you really can be.
Definitely.
And
definitely. That's my whole thing is that so many people just give up or whatever. It's like, or they live their best life in high school or whatever. How many former athletes like poured themselves into sports and stuff like that. And when it didn't go the way they wanted, they just kind of settled for something else.
Right.
One of the things I respect about, different guys, especially like your Jeff LeVecchios and stuff like that.
A stud.
He played professional and stuff like that. And, his dream didn't play out as long as he wanted it to, but he was able to pivot, and put that passion into something else. Right. I told him the other day, I was like, you're probably one of the most intense people I've ever met.
Absolutely.
That's talking about the podcast. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, he's an intense guy. But, it's good. It's good, man. He has an energy about him or whatever. And, certain people bring an energy with them, wherever they go. And it's a great quality to have.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Well, so we, it's very interesting to hear about Willbinspired and just the whole story about that, and I think that's awesome. And at the end of the episode, we'll have you plug so people can donate and follow you and follow along with you. But Mitch, you've got a couple Q&A questions for us. One more so the EX current route. So why don't you hit us with that first one?
Will do, no problem at all. So if we want to go down the route, we talked about COVID a little bit. It will be a divisive question, but should there be consequences for the elites who perpetrated the last 2 to 3 years?
Simply put, yes.
Should there be consequences?
Well, my thought process, even going off that question too, is like, because we even talked about how bad those 2-3 years were for people mental health wise.
Exactly. Yep.
That's what really bothers me about the last 2 years. And I don't know what you think, Will, but man, like, well, we can probably guess off your stories. But
suicide. Yeah. See my stories if you.
Right.
Will's a story man. See him.
Right. Yeah, man. So I heard a couple different things. I know there was a guy who worked with a particular trainer and everything like that, and he was really into fitness or whatever, and the gym was his savior from drugs and everything like that, and really got into it. And he was following the program, doing everything he needed to do, and then gym shut down. He didn't have didn't have that way to kind of release certain things or do certain things or whatever. So things didn't turn out too well for him. And then you hear a lot of different stories like that, people's livelihoods being taken away from them. And if I were to do some of the things that have been done to other people, there would be consequences for me.
Right.
So I think what's fair is fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
and especially because it's on a global stage.
Exactly.
It's not an individual. It's a group of people, and they've done this to the entire world. And what we talk about so often, we are so confused. Like, how are people still not waking up to this? How are there people that are still in denial? I think the number is growing that are accepting that we were all played, and that they just kind of see us as pawns in ways, and like, hey, look how easy it was to control all these people, you know?
Yep.
And so luckily there are more and more people every day waking up.
I think it's a pride thing, man. People don't want to admit
Yes.
that they were fooled and stuff
Definitely.
like that. Like,
And I think some of
It's
it could
just-
be out of fear too. You know,
right.
if you're someone that did go through and get vaccinated and whatnot, like you're starting to see more and more of the issues that are coming out with that.
yeah.
Like I'd be scared too.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'd be scared.
And my thing was never like, if you want to get vaccinated, if you want to wear a
Go for
mask,
it.
if you want to do whatever,
Mm-hmm.
do your thing.
Absolutely.
Don't tell me how to do my thing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the
Like,
biggest
you
thing.
know,
Yep.
You know, I like that was my whole thing during it. It's like, do whatever you want to do, whatever you feel like is best for you, your
Absolutely.
family, your whole situation, but don't force it on me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, and I think what always comes back to my mind too is like how it seemed like the policies were really just kind of thrown out there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, right at the drop of a hat. Oh, we saw what looks like a deadly virus, and let's just drop some policies that ended up having domestic abuse went up, mental health went down,
Yep.
suicides went up.
Yep.
What else? Child abuse went up, drug
Yep.
abuse went up.
Mhm.
All these statistics happened, and we see these policies that just tanked everything.
Right.
And so I look back and instead of, you know, realizing after 2-3 months this stuff was happening, we
Yeah.
saw these numbers, you know, going up or down and depending on if it's suicides, you know, drug abuse, etc. Instead of, you know, us sitting back and be like, okay, let's refresh
Right.
and you know, reevaluate these policies, it seemed like we just kept pushing
Right.
on the
Pushing
gas
more and
pedal.
more.
Right.
Let's you know, let's mask some more. Let's lock
Mhm.
down this restaurant more. Let's, you know, and by the way, while we're at it, let's only do small businesses.
Yeah.
And let's keep Mr. Costco and Mr. Walmart
Exactly.
open
Exactly.
while we close, you know, John and Linda's restaurant down the way.
Right.
So that's what
Yeah.
really bothered me about it.
The thing is, like, I mean, a lot of people knew that this stuff didn't make sense or whatever. I mean, me and
Yeah.
my wife like are laughing about like we wiping down groceries with Lysol.
Yeah. No, we did too.
Because I mean, well, people, you know, we didn't know initially. It was like,
Sure.
you know, they
Yeah.
show you people just dropping and everything like that. And then
Right.
Yep.
it's like, you know, certain things aren't making sense or whatever. And it's like when you know, there's a clue. Like you gotta pay attention to it or whatever. And it's just, you know, certain people's survival mode or instinct or whatever is like almost non-existent. So it's like seeing like how many you can fool and how many is just gonna roll with it anyway and be cool with it, and then okay, it was this amount or whatever, and then we'll do it again and see if we can get the numbers more and more in our favor.
Right.
What it seems like to me, but
Right. Yeah, no, that's what worries me the most is when they try something like this again, because it's not if, it's when.
yeah,
What's that response going to look like? Because
Or if is it going to be a deadlier virus?
well, right,
That's my
right,
biggest
a much
concern.
much scarier thing than
Exactly.
just the flu.
yeah,
But
yeah. I mean,
you know, are we gonna see all these people fall back in line again,
Yeah.
or are we gonna have more like, okay, last time we did this, like, this was not a good thing. It was not real, really, you know, and it was not as bad as what they made it seem like. People weren't really just dropping dead in the street and
Right,
whatnot.
right.
You know, a lot of this was manufactured, and not to say that some people didn't die with COVID, but it really wasn't because of COVID. You know, it was because of other circumstances.
right. And a lot of that, like I said, a lot of that stuff is coming out now. My whole thing was, you know, people were, you know, at associates and different things, whatever, like making comments or whatever. Like one guy's like, I got vaccinated like a responsible American. And I said, oh, okay, let me know how to play it. You know, and he says that in front of another person who I knew had a stroke from getting it or whatever, blood clots and stuff like that. I was like, well, it was, you know, her being a responsible American cost her some of her health.
Almost
You know what I'm
killed her,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and my whole thing was like, you know, and at first, you know, I was like, okay, let me see how this thing plays out, you know, with other people, whatever. And then, you know, I might consider it and stuff like that.
Sure.
But then, you know, when certain things coming out, it was like, no, you're going to do this. I was like, nah, I'm not.
Nah, I'm not.
Nope,
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Nah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to say no in the moment too. I remember you and I just walked into grocery stores and just were like, no, we're good. We don't need it. We don't need that. I mean, I think Mitch and I mean, we would go into places too, and like there was one they handed us a mask, and we like took it and kind of looked at it, and we're like, cool, and just went and sat down with it in our
Right,
hand.
yeah.
We're like, wow, this is really helpful. Thanks for giving me this free mask.
That
Like,
makes sense. 6 feet apart. Like,
Yeah.
you know, wear a mask when you walk into a restaurant, but when you sit down to eat, COVID's gone. Like what?
COVID doesn't like food well.
Yeah,
Okay, come on now.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, and I'm like, yo, it's almost, y'all not seeing this?
Exactly. Right.
You walk into a restaurant like, am I the only one seeing this
Right.
bullshit right now?
No, but everybody's like, oh, this is what we do. Like, no, we don't. Like, this
Like,
is
yeah.
Can you
insane.
think for yourself at all?
Insane.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not follow stupid ass rules. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
man. They got to the point where it's like, man, I'm just not going to these, you know.
Yeah.
No, real talk.
I'm
gonna learn how to cook. Yeah.
Yeah, because what I'm gonna sit here and be mad the whole time. Like I'm not even gonna. I'm not gonna want the food's gonna taste different. Like I'm like,
right.
You know, I don't know. It's just. I mean, we can go for hours about all this stuff, whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like people. You know, you do something wrong, you deserve consequences. Yes. Everybody else gets consequences, but there's certain people that feel that they're above.
Above those consequences.
Yeah,
right.
It is what it is.
And that's why it takes, a whole citizenship and a whole country and really a whole world to just say no next time this happens. Be like, no, we are not following these guidelines, these orders and whatever. And that's how it stopped,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, things come out, they say safe and effective. It will prevent you from spreading this. It will, and then that's why, all the, the math people are like, okay, well, if you got yours or whatever, what do I need mine? If you're good, if you're not going to get it, and
you're
good, you're good, right?
Like that's the first thing that that a clue.
Right.
Like, okay, I still got to wear this. If you good, or whatever.
Right.
Like, well, no, you got to still do yours for mine to work. I'm like, nah. No. I mean, we got to a point where like, people just like never ask you about your medical stuff before. It's like
never,
or just neighbor. Like I remember being in the neighborhood or whatever. Dude was like, "Hey, yeah, me and the wife got vaccinated, and what do you guys look like on your end?" I was like, "We're looking very good on our end."
Right.
None of your business.
None of your business.
That's what we talk about. Yeah,
they're just trying to figure out who's this and who's that, who doesn't have that. Like, nah,
right.
But now a lot of those people are quiet.
Very.
They're not showing the cards on Instagram,
putting
Facebook,
the stickers on, on their stories
like,
and stuff.
Yeah, like you guys are selfish, and nobody's saying that no more. Like,
right.
Yep.
Right. It's like I said, I go on all day about that.
Well, the whole time we're here standing up for them too. We're the ones. We're the ones standing up for it. Like, hey, think here, right. And yet we're the ones who got yelled at the entire 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, every time. Wurtz and I were even saying. I mean, I think I said this to you on a car ride back. We were just driving one time, and I was like, I think we have enough of the population where, like, that they would be for the consequences for these elites and whatnot. I think there's a higher percentage than we might think there is, and I mean, we could even say that by the people we talk to and whatnot. But I have some strong hope for the future. Is like the way I look at it for sure.
But then
even though it's scary,
you have to have people in place that are going to enforce it.
Exactly.
There you go. That's the issue. Is we don't do we necessarily have those people in place yet? Right. Yeah. 100%.
I think we got some in this past midterm election, but even still, relying on the government for anything usually doesn't turn out too well.
It turns out really doesn't.
But anyway, I kind of figured we would all have a similar stance there on the consequences for COVID.
Yep.
Mitch, why don't you hit us number 2 now?
I can't believe you guys are just absolute bigots with these answers. Anywho,
just horrible people over
here's
here.
a little 2-for-1, the second one. So it goes, how do you overcome plateaus in life, work, and fitness? What is the key to consistent growth in those areas? So not, like we talked about, what episode? You would remember this, motivation versus discipline.
Oh, motivation. Oh, gosh.
For a week.
That was a while back, I think, actually. Yeah.
For a week, you might make a huge jump in going to the gym. But with discipline, month after month after month, you're showing up at 4 a.m. every day. You're showing up at 4 a.m. every day. What's the key to that in those areas, how to get past those plateaus?
Yeah, go ahead, Will.
Man, like you said, discipline. I mean, showing up on the days you don't feel like it or whatever. I mean, every day you show up, what they call it. I mean, progressive overload. Is what they call it in the weight room and stuff like that. When you're getting better every day or every week or whatever. And there's some you'll fall back sometimes, whatever. But like I said, you just still move. I mean, you're moving forward every day that you're doing something, regardless of how you feel. My thing is just like, also, you're creating new goals for yourself or whatever. So you accomplish this or whatever, like, don't stop there, keep going or whatever. Some people even say like, don't set a particular goal because, if you know that the end's in sight or something like that or whatever, then you're more likely kind of quit. Just focus on improving daily. One of my buddies, he talks about stacking days. whatever. It's like, you know, you stack 2 days. When I did 75 hard, it's like 75.
Like win after win after win.
75 days stacked together.
Right.
You know, stacking the good days. Different podcasts I listen to, you know, they say, you know, the importance of starting your day off with a win. So that's one of the reasons I wake up at 4, whatever you're waking up at 4 before, you know, the world has a chance to get a hold of you. You know,
I like that.
kind of starting your day off right. I mean, you got, you know, when you have kids and, you know, different things, different other obligations, you'll definitely understand or whatever. But getting in workouts or even before you have to answer emails or, you know, get on the phone for work or do whatever you have, you know, I got, you know, what I need to get done out of the way and stuff like that. And it doesn't even have to be working out, you know, be putting the podcast together.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just some you time, whatever, to, you know, do what you want to do outside of the 9 to 5 or the grind and stuff like that.
Making those Merry Mondays.
Right. You know, and it's, you know, whatever, you know, 1% better every day. You know, are you really going to get 1% better every day? No.
Not necessarily.
Not every day or whatever, but, you know, you're keeping the momentum going. That's when Andy talks a lot about momentum, you know, don't let off on the momentum, you know, and, you know, work, you know, continuing the stuff on the weekends, you know, people start, you know, do Monday through Friday or whatever, but, you know, the weekend's free time. It's like, you know, how much better can you be, you know, if you're continuing on the weekends while everybody else is taking off?
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I don't know, probably, 8 weeks ago or so, somewhere in that timeline, I switched my off day from the gym to Mondays. Now, there were some other circumstances that played into that, but now I go Tuesday through Sunday in order to keep myself in check on the weekends. That helps me stay in check. Like, hey, it's Sunday. Like, I got church and football's on. Like, this would be a very easy day to have a very relaxing day. I still got to get my next day in at the gym, you know? And
awesome.
Again, there's some other things that played into that switch, but it helps me really, you know, stay in check on the weekends and whatnot too. So you're exactly right. Like, there's a lot of the Monday to Friday guys. Right. And when you're just starting out in fitness, like if you're starting out on a huge weight loss goal or something like that, Monday through Friday is a great place to start. Monday, definitely. Wednesday, Friday is a great place to start, you know? And so there obviously are people that can fit into that category. But if you are really wanting to get past, you know, plateaus like Mitch just asked, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't take all those days off and whatnot.
And a lot of things, if you're hitting plateaus and stuff like that, get with somebody who knows, you know, what they're doing. Like, you know, there was a certain point I could take my body to without hiring Kevin. You know, so reaching out to somebody who's been there or whatever, who knows how to navigate certain plateaus. You know, when I'll be on a certain eating plan or something like that, and depending on how my body adjusts to it or whatever, like I'll drop 3 pounds, drop 3 pounds, drop 3 pounds, then I'll be stagnant, whatever. And so he has to adjust something.
Sure.
You know, either, you know, take something away or add more cardio or whatever it is. Some changes need to be made.
Right.
And because he has that experience and you're going to him for that experience or whatever, like you're not guessing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know, you know, go to somebody who's been there before.
Yeah, right.
You know, and then learn from them. You know?
Kind of goes back to that. Don't be scared to ask for help. You know, you had the conscious awareness to be like, all right, I've taken myself to the point that I can, but if I want to keep doing these other things, or if I want to try out these new events and competitions, I've got to have some help. You know, I've got to have someone in my corner and whatnot.
I'd even say like a small thing when it comes to, you know, keeping momentum. Like for me, because you even mentioned obviously the 4 a.m. wake up time, the 3:30 a.m. wake up time before the world gets to you. I would say like that early sunlight can be really beneficial as well. I mean, that because for me, I mean, Mitch and I today, we knocked out our 275 workouts, you know, before we podcast today. Because I mean, I totally could have waited, done a little bit, you know, done my first workout and then waited till after the podcast. But for me, having that stuff done earlier in the day just feels like I'm really winning the day that way. And the fact that I got to walk when the sun's basically beaming on me and whatnot, you know, even though of course it's 30 degrees outside, but still you get that extra sunlight. I think that was massive for me. And I guess my question for you too, Will, along that same line, when it comes to having, you know, in your case, you have a family, you're doing bodybuilding, you have a nonprofit, you have a full career. What does that look like? You know, because you were talking about maintaining momentum. What does it look like, you know, on those days that like basically it tries to knock you off track and you're still able to maintain the momentum, you know, the best you can? What does that look like?
It looks like no compromise.
You know,
no compromise. You said you were going to do it, you do it regardless of how you feel. And the one thing, I keep going back to 75 hard because it's probably the one thing that that's
How
helped the most.
powerful it is.
But it's like you don't realize how much time that you truly have that you're wasting.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it teaches you have time to get this stuff in or whatever. It's like you're just not making the most of your time. So just no compromise. Like, I said I wanted this, or if I tell myself I want something, it's like, okay, this is what is required to get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kobe talks about that a lot or whatever. It's, these are my goals. What does it look like, or what things would I do or not do, to get there? Is this going to take me further away from my goal, or is this going to push me towards my goal?
Right.
It's just kind of keeping that constant mindset. It's like, you told yourself the life you wanted, the things you wanted to do. And it's like, you're going to quit on yourself,
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, you talk to yourself, a lot of people call it bitch voice or whatever.
Sure.
That's such a funny term for it, but it's true though. Yeah.
Right. Can we cuss on this? Like, it's like we're never having Will back.
It's like, man, this guy's vulgar. Come on.
Right. Mitch, edit that, please.
And we're censoring that.
Too funny, man.
But yeah, it just really the whole thing mindset is just no compromise. Like, you said you're gonna do something, you just do it regardless of how you feel. Like, because like if you've been waking up and getting in a routine of doing your early morning workouts and stuff like that. Let's say you sleep in a day or whatever and stuff like that.
And that's happened.
Feel?
That's happened. It's the worst.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like wow, that was your bitch voice. Like, that's literally what it feels like.
Exactly.
It's like wow,
Right.
you just completely compromised this morning, and now you're gonna have to stuff those workouts together later in the day because you have to go to work before that, and absolutely.
And then in your mind, you're behind.
Yes.
You're constantly behind all day long because you normally hear whatever, then everything else just kind of falls out of whack. At least it does for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But when I get up, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and everything like that, it just sets the momentum for the rest of the day. It just always does. And I feel it when I don't.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's like that zero option mentality that Andy talks so much about. It's so true.
Yeah.
If you truly don't, and obviously he talks about that with business or from a business aspect as well, but even for the fitness side of things and just the routine side of things, if you truly don't give yourself any other options, like that's how you keep that momentum going. That's how you keep moving forward each and every day.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's gonna be our episode here with Will. A tremendous conversation, man. We are so happy that we were able to get you on, and
I'm
just
happy to be here.
all the work you're doing with your nonprofit is amazing. So keep that up.
Absolutely,
you're gonna continue doing great things, and can't wait to just watch it blossom even more.
It's a pleasure to be in the studio.
Yeah.
I share you guys a show time and time.
Yeah.
One of my followers was like, "Oh, I like the whole no shoes thing." And I was like, I said, "What?" I said, "Did I miss something in conversation?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "They have socks on." I was like, "Oh, okay."
What a funny thing to recognize.
No way. Well, if you're going on there, are you going to wear socks? I was like, well, I guess I have to. I said, I'm assuming because
for me, it's always been just comfortable. I'm like, well, I feel good without having shoes on. Yeah.
Untapped, the most comfortable podcast out there.
There we go. Damn right. Damn right.
First.
Man, now I'm gonna be thinking about that.
Right.
I'm like, don't look at my feet.
I'm like, bro, I gotta have some socks with no holes in them.
Got a toe sticking out.
They got to match.
Well, it's bad. I check them every time, dude. There was one time I pulled one with a hole in it. I think they pointed it out, and I was like, oh,
man,
can't wear
we
that.
gotta switch that
We
out.
got change.
Yeah, redo.
Quick,
Just edit some different socks on my feet.
yeah, right.
Get Adobe working on that.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Well, real quick here, Will, plug your socials, where they can donate to the nonprofit and all that. Plug that at.
Socials, Willbinspired on Instagram. I have a website, willbinspired.com. There's a link for you to donate there.
New merch drop, no big deal.
Yeah, new merch.
happened.
New merch.
Yeah.
Some of the red shirts looks clean.
Got a permanent shop through STL Shirt Co. now and stuff. So if you go to my Instagram, you can look in the link tree, and it's Willbinspired gear. Like I said, or donations at willbinspired.com. Just kind of look up and see what I'm all about. I'm a little I'm not your traditional nonprofit, and that's how I want it to be. So I have different things that different people might like on the page and stuff like that. It's like fitness stuff, inspirational stuff. My walk and talks with Will.
Yeah.
Like I do all this lifting weight and stuff like that, thinking I'm doing something. It's like, people come to me, I really like your walking and talking with Will. I'm like, what about my bench press?
Right. You saw those.
What about my 170s?
Yeah, I was gonna say you saw the 170s, right?
It's like, it's okay. But what you said today, like, I'm like, okay, all right. So I guess I'll keep these going.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Man.
That is funny. Well, guys, we were really, really happy to bring you all this value in this conversation, guys. So keep up the sharing of the show. Tell your family about it, tell your coworkers about it, tell your friends about it, all of that. As we have said so many times, Spotify, Apple Music, they make it super easy to share this to your Instagram stories. Guys, that's how we grow.
Yep.
That's how we continue getting good guests on here to bring even more value. And that's just how we are able to bring you guys more and more content. So keep up the shares, keep up showing the love and whatnot.
Yeah.
Until next time, peace and love.
Thanks, guys.
Take action.